fam? Welcome to another episode of Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate with Jose. Got another guest for you today, Josh. Woo! How are we
Hey,
doing
glad to
today,
be
Josh?
here. Doing good. How you doing?
Good. Josh is a new friend of mine that we just met recently, and I'm not going to steal his thunder. So, Josh, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, tell them about your journey in real estate.
Yeah, I got into real estate just about a year ago, and the first few months I had a lot going on in life. I was flipping couches and still day trading at the time too, as I am now, and trying to be around for my young family too. And so it was pretty busy when I first started, and I didn't quite commit the time that I needed to when I started into real estate. And so I got, a little bit of traction in the earlier stages in the first few months, but it wasn't till later in the year into December where I put my foot down and said, all right, I need to go full time and put all my effort and energy into real estate. And so I'm still pretty green, pretty new here, and just still learning the ropes. But yeah, since the end of 2024, I really started to go full time.
Gotcha. So, you didn't share with people where you're calling from. Want to share with people where you are right now?
Oh yeah, so I'm in just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
See, so I bring that up because a lot of people don't realize you can do this pretty much from anywhere. We Most of the people that follow this channel know that I'm in the Sub Two community, and we have members all over the globe. So that's why I want to make sure I highlight the fact that you're in Canada, because some people are like, "Well, I can't do this." Like, why not? I mean, you're from Canada. You don't live here in
Absolutely.
the states, and you're investing. Um, so you talked about you're in real estate. Can you share with us how you're investing in real estate? What strategies are you using to invest in real estate?
Yeah, so I've got kind of short-term plans and longer-term plans. So I'll start with the shorter term. Um, Currently, just working to bring in short-term income as a transactional lender or funder. And so that means helping investors and wholesalers with their closing costs like EMD, double closes, seller carryback, things like that inside escrow. And so it's super short time frame, uh, quick transactions for quicker income. And then in the longer term, the plan is to put some of that capital into real estate funds and hedge funds for more passive investment.
Okay. So what got you into real estate? What made you say this is the avenue I want to take in order to, which I'm assuming is what most people do, is to create that generational wealth?
Yeah, that's a good question. Getting into real estate was a choice I made after continually struggling in my day trading career. I kept finding I was just under a lot of pressure to only day trade for income at the time when I got into this, and so using real estate to create shorter term income was a really good option, especially where I'm at right now. Transactional funding is really similar to trading because it's just trading money. But the good thing is it's a more tangible process of making money for me, and so it was kind of like another way of building shorter term capital to build into my day trading career. They kind of go hand in hand with the long term goals of being an investor all around. They just the real estate just fit really well with my day trading too, and so that's kind
Yeah,
of how I shifted in and then put actually a lot more emphasis and focus in real estate.
gotcha. Now you and I had that conversation when we met. Is can you kind of explain to people what day trading is compared to maybe like a swing trader? There are different terms, and the reason why I bring that up is, people try to find different ways to kind of break into real estate, and maybe this may be one way that they can do it. Because I know myself, back in probably September frame time, I looked into actually doing trading as another source of income. Always putting that next fishing pole in the pond
Yeah.
to get money going. So, Can you kind of share people exactly how that works and how you can take the earnings that you get from up and down quick trades and maybe turn that into money in real estate?
Yeah. So in day trading, there's many instruments that we can use. I personally specialize in just trading currencies, but you can trade stocks and futures and lots of instruments to choose from, and all time frames to choose from. It's part of why it's difficult is because there really is an unlimited way of bringing in money. In the same way, there's unlimited ways to lose your money too. That's what makes it difficult. But if you're well disciplined and you've got good strategy and good performance, you can pull in short-term income by just trading the swings in the market, the ups and downs. You can bring in day to day little bits of money, and you can add that into your capital, like what I'm doing personally for my real estate investing and all around investing. So there's lots of ways. I personally am a scalper, so it's kind of generally known as the shortest term investing or day trading. And then you've got swing trading, and then more like position or swing trading. Um, and so I do the short term scalping. So I'm in and out in minutes and hours during the day, and then I'm done for the day. And so generally I just spend a couple hours, and it's a great opportunity. And you can do that from anywhere too. So it's great, an excellent addition, especially if you've already got another income. It makes it um, a great additional source is a way to put it, and a great way to do it, especially when you're starting.
So when you're doing that for a couple hours, what's the window? Because I know what's that? The market opens at what 9, right? I know when I was studying it, one of the guys that I was following, I think he started looking at the trends at like around 7:30, and then like maybe doing some transactions around 8 before the markets open, and then watching to see what happens after the markets open. So, what's your strategy when you're doing that? Being in Canada, being probably different time zone than the market.
Yeah, for me, I take about an hour or two in the evening. So I'm trading the Tokyo session,
Okay.
and I'm in that session, yeah, for an hour to two, generally less than 2 hours. And try and pull a little small portion of my daily goal out in the evening for me. And then in the morning around that 8 a.m. for me is when I go in for my morning portion. I try and pull out the rest of my daily goal in the next couple hours. I try to be done in about 2 hours in the morning as well. So a total of about 4 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked about what would be an ideal, for lack of better terms, client or borrower for you in your transactional funding.
Yeah. The ideal borrower generally is a wholesaler, somebody that's coming in to uh, do a quick transaction. They want to come in, uh, find a good deal that doesn't require too much work, and make, I guess, making a good negotiation where they can just turn it around and not have to do anything to the property and then make an income on it. So those would be the ideal customer for who I'm looking for.
Gotcha. Um, and do you use a transactional coordinator?
Yes, I do. Especially because I'm still newer. I'm still learning all the paperwork and how the transactions go. So I do currently use a transaction coordinator to help things running smoothly.
I always use a transactional coordinator. They just make life so much easier.
Yeah,
I only bring
absolutely.
that up is because I've had two transaction coordinators that I've interviewed on this channel, and I just try to make sure that I kind of hit home the value they bring to transactions. Right now, I'm in the middle of one, and I'm still working my W-2 job as I do all my investing, and she's calling the title company, she's calling the some of the vendors that we're dealing with to make sure that everything falls in line. So she's a great asset, and I can't talk enough about transaction coordinators. They're great. And so I know you've only been into it for a short period of time, but do you happen to have any good stories to talk about in your journey so far, and maybe a potential bad one that deal that didn't go your way?
Sure. Well, it's been a pretty good struggle from the start because I haven't had my first deal come through yet. I do have a couple deals on the go, but when I when I got started last summer, here's a good story actually. Um, I was still in Florida at the time. I'm back in Canada now, but I went to a meetup in Orlando and met a few people, made some good connections, and I was still really green then. And because I knew I had the community behind me, I was telling people that I could provide unlimited EMD for funds. Um, and then a few days later, after this meetup, I got a call back from a person, and they said, "Would you really be able to help fund the purchase of a $90 million apartment building?" And I was like, yeah, it should be no problem. And so my first deal was helping fund this apartment building purchase with a $500,000 EMD. And I had no experience at this point yet. And so I went to the community. I got a few people to help out, and we put it together. And I got to learn a bunch of things that were still over my head at the time, and actually some of it still is now. But the did not go smoothly. It was supposed to close in the fall, and the contracts were originally for December. Then they got an extension, and then it was supposed to be January 31st. And throughout that whole process, there was a lot of battles between funds, trying to find funds and where the funds were going, and people coming in and out of the transaction. So it was a big learning experience. And then by January 31st of this year, the purchase actually had closed, and so the apartment building was. So the transaction did close for the apartment building in January, right at the end of January, but they didn't have the funds to pay for all the investors and everybody that made it happen. And so to this point, they're still raising capital to finish paying everybody off. And there's a lot of unhappy investors. It's kind of an ugly situation. I wish it was not that way, but hey, it's kind of is what it is. Everybody's under contract still. Everything is still looking good. It seems to be just taking longer, which I think is to be expected when you put such a big purchase together.
Sure.
So yeah, that's kind of my first one. Hoping to get paid on that soon, and then I've got a couple others on the go as well. I've one at the very opposite end of the spectrum. A $3,000 purchase. It's like a burnt down fire burnt home in Missouri, and yeah, the purchase for the property is $3,000, and so I just funded that one for another guy himself, and that one is a 60-day term, and so hopefully that one will be out soon. And that's kind of it for my working experience. And then to right now today, I'm just still working as hard as I can to create visibility, get myself out there as much as possible, just keep letting people know I'm around for this job.
Awesome. So I got a couple questions for you. So on the last your not so great one, or the second story you shared with the $3,000 one, are you in first position on that, or how did you
Yes.
structure that deal? Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the $90 million deal, you said that a lot of the investors didn't get paid. So I'm a little curious because I mean, $90 million. The first thing I think of is multifamily,
Yep.
um, and then most investors in a deal like that are typically limited partners, so they're not truly expecting to get paid at closing. So I'm confused. What Who were the investors that were looking to get paid?
Well,
At,
it was investors for specifically for the EMD.
gotcha. Okay.
So it's not necessarily the partners for the whole project, but just the EMD itself. And so they were supposed to have been paid out at the close.
That's why you said that they were still doing capital raising. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the bad things about doing multifamily is having a capital call, and typically you want to have that completed prior to closing. The last thing you want to do is still looking for money when it's not for time for closing, because this is the types of stuff that happens is
Yeah.
you don't have the money for capex, you don't have the money to, to kind of pay back the people that are trying to get you into the deal. So
Yeah.
yeah, that can get really sticky, and people start pulling their money, and then you don't have a deal anymore. So especially if we negotiated a really good deal. I mean, they're buying it for 90, but I mean, who knows? I think it could be worth 130 in a year. So
Yeah.
um, that's crazy.
Hopefully it stays together. It's kind of a wild situation. I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but
Sure, sure, sure.
pretty good first story.
So, I mean, you shared with us, that you're kind of new and green to the lending, but um, and we know that that's what you're offering people. So, what are you looking for? What if people are watching this? Well, I guess my question to you is, what is your need? What are you looking for? How can people partner with you? What are those avatars that you're looking for?
Um, well, it's kind of like I said, I need wholesalers, but I'm looking to build long-term relationships. And so I don't need a bunch of wholesalers as much as I need a couple really strong relationships with people that are investors and wholesalers themselves. So if I were going to be looking for anything, I'm looking to build that nice, like trustworthy relationship that I can do work and deals with for people for years to come. That's what I'm looking for. The one-offs are great, but I'm really looking for just a few people that I can work with for the next few years.
Awesome. And if somebody wanted to do partner with you, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can just find me on Facebook, or we'll leave my email, and you can email me and call me. Um, I don't really have a website set up per se yet, but that is in the works. So there'll be a website that goes along with my email.
No worries. And for the audience, all of his contact information will be in the description as always, guys. I always take care of you, so you don't have to worry about replaying the video. As much as I'd love for you to watch this video 2 or 3 times, I'll help you out. Put that stuff down there so you can reach out to Josh. Um, you and I are in the same community. Are you heading to Squad Up Summit? Did I ask you that before?
No, you didn't ask. I won't be at it this year,
Okay.
unfortunately.
And for the audience, I always put a selfish plug in there for since it's leading up to it, and this episode should come out before it is. So years 2025, March 29th through the 31st is Squad Up Summit is one of the bigger real estate conventions of the year. I'll put the link in the description as well.
Yeah,
You don't want to miss it. If anything, it's 3,000 people all in one location that you can make deals with, as Josh was saying, create long lasting relationships. Last year was the first one, and I'm still friends and business partners with a lot of people that I met at that thing. I highly encourage it. If there's any one event that you can go to, this would be the one you want to, because the networking that goes on there is astonishing. I mean, we had people till 3 o'clock in the morning in the halls, and the hotel didn't even know what was going on. They felt like they were getting invaded. It was crazy.
yeah.
So
I imagine this year's going to be epic.
yeah, especially now that everybody knows what to expect and how last year went, it's going to be. Let's put it this way: I know now to make sure that I get plenty of sleep before going, and make sure I have my like 5 hour drinks or whatever to make sure that I stay awake so I can do as much networking as possible. So not be the old man that I am and be in bed early. Got to stay up. So.
Yeah,
Well, Josh, I want to thank you, sir, for coming out and sharing your journey with us, and telling us about what you're offering, so that way people can hopefully close more deals with your services. And to you, the audience, thank you so much for signing in or listening, watching another one of my episodes. And if anything, we'll see you on the next one.
real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Bye now.